First cooking stream, a little bit nervous. As I promised, I'll show you guys how to cook steaks. Don't burn the food. I've owned my own restaurant before, okay? This steak is actually called culotte steak. This is the steak I served in my restaurant. This just came out of the fridge, okay? So what I like to do is that you get a bunch of paper towels. You wrap it around. As you can see, it's already absorbing all the moisture. So if you guys will ask why are you drying the steak, it's easier to sear, or rather fry the steak that way. If you put a wet steak in a hot pan with oil, the browning process, which is what you want, it's gonna be a lot harder to do that. This is non-negotiable. You need to dry it. There are many ways to cook a steak, but this is probably the way that I'm showing you guys with like the least amount of skill. You want to turn it all the way up as high as possible. A little bit of oil. Well, a good amount of oil. The first thing I want to do is actually cook the fat. If you don't want the fat, you can just cut it off. But since I want it, I'm just going to put it on here. I'm going to set it upright like this in a cold pan. The reason is because I want to melt the fat. If I wait for the pan to get hot and I put the fat in, what happens is that you'll burn the fat before it's cooked. Now, if you've seen a lot of Gordon Ramsay videos, you'll probably see he'll use garlic, thyme, butter, and all that stuff. But I'm just keeping this very, very simple. And I personally think that butter with steak is a little bit overrated. So this is what you want. It's slowly getting there. How do you know when the fat is done? Easy. Just check the steak like this. Just pull on it. Like, try to pick it up. If it's sticking like this, that means it's not ready, all right? When you can pick it up rather easily, that's when it's ready. All right, now it's getting to a good hot temperature. See how easy I can pick that up? There it is. See that fat? Oh, that is good fat right there. Look at that, it's caramelized and stuff. And now you see all the oil is smoking. That means it is ready for searing on the side. Again, how do you know when that side is ready? Simple. It's the same exact part as the fat. When you can pick it up with your hand easily, that's when you know that the caramelization is done. There you go. There are some of these spots that did not hit the oil, and that's fine, because I'm going to flip it another time. Now I'm going to cook this to medium, rare to medium. Woo! Look at that crust. That is delicious. All right, that's enough. Okay, as I was saying, most of you guys will probably have a hard time understanding what is the degree, when do I take it out. This is still raw. I know that because I can feel it, okay? I'll teach you guys this technique that I've learned. What you do is take a toothpick and then you stick it right in the middle for a little bit, about 3 to 5 seconds. You take it out and put it on top of your upper lip. Your body temperature is about 97, 98 degrees or something like that. And depending on the temperature that you want, if you want rare, it's about 120, 25. If you want medium rare, it's about 130. And if you want well done, it'd be like 165. So I know for a fact that this steak is still raw in the middle. But that's fine, because right now I've already turned the stove off, and this steak needs to be rested. You're gonna have to rest it for the exact same amount of time that you cooked it. So I assume that I cooked for about 6 minutes or something like that. It took about 6 minutes. So I'm gonna rest it for 6 minutes. This pan is still very, very hot. So what I like to do, some people who wants to rest their steak, they put it out here. But what I do is that this steak still needs to finish cooking. I finish the cooking, but at the same time resting it in the pan. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, so it saves me a lot more time. So by the time it is finished cooking, it is also finished resting. Another sign is that if you look a little bit closer, there's going to be some red liquid coming out. It's not blood, it's myoglobin, whatever it's called. If it starts piercing from the bottom to up, that means it's medium rare. So just let it rest, and it's okay. If you undercook a steak, it's okay. If you undercook a steak, what happens? Just keep cooking it. It's that simple. If you overcook a steak, oh, then I'm sorry, that steak is kind of ruined. It's still rare, in my opinion. Always pierce it in the thickest part, okay? Doesn't have to be in the middle, but always the thickest part. I think it needs a little bit more cooking. So if it needs a little bit more cooking, then just turn up your heat. And then cook it for another 30 seconds to a minute as you need it. If you're cooking a smaller steak and a thinner steak, it'll take a lot less time. But this is actually a pretty thick piece. All right, another check for the temperature. It should be good now. Yeah, it's good. I know the temperature, plus if you guys want to look a little bit closer, you see these little blobs right here. That's the juice from the steak. Now there's not as many juices coming out, is because, you know why? Because I let the steak rested. If I were to cut it immediately, all that juice would fill up this entire pan. So this is not only finished cooking, but it's also finished resting, because as you can see, I can touch it. Now, some people ask me, hey, what happened to salt and pepper? I personally like to be a little bit more frugal because I'm broke. So I'm gonna season it as I eat it. Take a bet on how many who says this steak is overcooked or is raw. Here we go. Perfect, medium. And as you can see, if I cut it, there's not many, it's juicy as hell. Perfect. A little bit on, this is a little bit on the rare side because this one is a little bit thicker, and that's okay. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. This is on the medium rare side. I like it. Because as long as it's juicy, which it is, God, look at all that juice. I'm good. Oh, that's good. And then lastly, some salt, pepper. Without wasting any salt. There you go. Oh, juicy. Oh, that's good. Put a little bit of salt on the right here, and then dip the steak in there. Look at that. Look how juicy that is. That is juicy. And that is why you should always let your steak rest. Non-negotiable. Anyone can cook this kind of steak at home, okay? Cooking at home makes the food so much more enjoyable. Delicious. I wish you guys could taste it. This is the exact same steak that I cooked in my restaurant.